Is the carnivore diet healthy? That's a good question and an important one. I don't think anyone should blindly follow a diet or anything else for that matter just because someone else says you should do it. So let's dive into this topic a little and hopefully it'll help you to decide if the carnivore diet would be a healthy choice for you. Don't let me tell you what to do. Hi, I'm Jen. I'm a doctor of physical therapy and I've experienced radical healing on a carnivore diet. I can help you to achieve abundant health through diet too. Today, we're going to talk about why the carnivore diet is not only healthy, but truly one of the healthiest things you can do for yourself. First of all, let's talk about some of the myths about why the carnivore diet is not healthy. The most common myth by far is that it'll raise your cholesterol and lead to heart attack or stroke. That's simply not true. Not fully anyway. Some people on a low-carb, meat-based diet, whether it's fully carnivore or not, find that their diet change lowers their cholesterol. However, some people do experience increased total cholesterol and LDL on this type of diet. But here's the thing. If you really dig into the research, you'll see that these markers alone are not powerful enough to predict cardiovascular disease risk. More information is needed. I'm going to attempt to keep this simple, so let me start by pointing out that LDL, the bad cholesterol, is not all bad. It can turn bad, and we'll discuss that in just a moment. You see, what really matters when it comes to LDL cholesterol is what type of particles it's made up of. LDL can be mostly made up of large, buoyant particles that are not a risk to your health, or they can turn into small, dense particles that can lead to atherosclerotic plaques in your arteries. Want to know how LDL particles turn into these yucky, small, dense particles? They get damaged when they come into contact with glucose. That's how. So whether your LDL is high or low, if it's made of the fluffy, non-threatening, large buoyant particles, then you're all good. But again, whether it's high or low, if it's made of small, dense particles, then you should be concerned and doing what you can to improve it. You can have your blood work specifically examined to detect the size of these particles if you like, or you can do some predictive math by looking at your HDL and your triglycerides. If your triglycerides are low, to be conservative, we're going to say less than 45 milligrams per deciliter, and your HDL is high, again, to be conservative, we're going to say greater than 60 milligrams per deciliter, then it's an almost certainty that your LDL particles are large and buoyant, so you really don't need to be worried about total cholesterol or LDL, even if they're technically high. I've actually built a calculator that you can use to plug in your own numbers and determine whether or not you should be worried about your cholesterol. Go to delightedtomeetyou.com/cholesterol to try it out. And let me know in the comments what you find out. You might have gathered from what we already discussed that triglycerides and HDL numbers are more important at predicting cardiovascular disease risk than LDL and total cholesterol. If you came to that conclusion on your own, good job, smarty. The way that you lower your triglycerides is by decreasing your carb intake. And the way that you increase your HDL is by eating plenty of meat and lifting heavy things. So you can see how the carnivore diet is a very healthy choice when it comes to the cholesterol discussion. There are several other things that determine our cardiovascular disease risk. The greatest risk of all comes from type 2 diabetes. And type 2 diabetes is caused by insulin resistance. And insulin resistance is caused by chronically elevated blood sugars. And chronically elevated blood sugars are caused by overconsumption of carbs. No carbs, no problem. High blood pressure is also a good predictor of cardiovascular disease risk, and the carnivore diet typically decreases blood pressure. Now, smoking is also a huge risk factor, but that's true regardless of your diet. So just don't smoke, okay? There you have it. If you don't want to have a heart attack or stroke, then make sure your triglycerides are low, your HDL is high, your blood pressure is normal, and that you're not insulin resistant. The carnivore diet will literally help you achieve every single one of those bullet points. We've officially busted our first myth. The carnivore diet does not increase your risk of cardiovascular diseases like heart attack or stroke. It actually decreases your risk as long as you're staying away from carbs. Let's chalk that up as 1 point for the carnivore diet being healthy. Next myth, an all-meat diet does not provide all the vitamins and minerals that you need to be healthy. Let's settle this by looking at this chart. I made this chart by using data directly from the USDA website. It compares common superfoods such as apples, blueberries, broccoli, and kale to meat and other animal products. Over here on the side, you can see all the vitamins and minerals that we're looking at. Each dark blue box indicates which food has the highest concentration of the corresponding nutrient over here. Each light blue box indicates which food has the second highest concentration. Look at how many dark blue and light blue boxes are on the meat side of the chart. I knew that meat was good for you, but I had no idea just how good until I took the time to make this chart. I'll admit, there are a couple of exceptions. One of those is vitamin C. However, listen up, this is important. Vitamin C and glucose compete for transportation within your body. So if you're not eating carbs, you don't need near as much vitamin C. That explains why you basically never hear of a carnivore with scurvy. The other thing missing from meat is fiber. We've been told for decades that fiber is necessary for good health, but I'm afraid we've been deceived. Fiber is necessary to bulk up your stools and stimulate bowel movements if you're not eating enough fat. So back in the 70s, when the government told us to decrease our fat intake, they also told us to eat more fiber so we didn't all become completely constipated. But as long as you're eating enough fat, then fiber is basically unnecessary. In fact, fiber can be very harmful. Just ask my patients who come into the hospital with diverticulitis. In summary, meat is the most nutrient-dense food on the planet, and the nutrients are more bioavailable in meat than they are from plant sources, which means that your body actually utilizes more of the nutrients rather than using them as binding agents to detoxify the body from the harmful compounds or anti-nutrients that come from plants. And for the record, if you want to download this nutrient density chart, see the caption to find out how. So there you go. Myth number 2 is busted as well. A meat-based diet is full of all the vitamins and minerals that you need. That sounds pretty healthy to me. There are many other myths about the carnivore diet. In fact, I'm feeling very inspired now to make a full video combating myths about the carnivore diet. But let's save that for another day. Today, I simply want to put your mind at ease that the carnivore diet is a healthy choice. It does not increase your cardiovascular disease risk. It's very nutrient dense, and it's healthy for so many more reasons. It helps you build muscle and bone density, especially if you combine it with exercise. It treats a whole host of disorders that are caused by insulin resistance. It improves the levels of your sex hormones due to all the healthy fat content. It reverses disordered eating issues because it's so satisfying and nourishing. It can help you gain or lose weight depending on your specific needs. It is extremely good at reversing digestive and autoimmune issues, which I believe are mostly diet related. And it simply optimizes human health and function. Don't just take my word for it. Look for the tens of thousands of others who are living proof of what this diet can do. Speaking of, if you've been carnivore for a while, please leave a comment stating what this way of eating has done for you. That way all the carna-curious people out there can hear it straight from you. The more healing stories, the better. If you're new here and you have questions, put those in the comments too. Between me and all the other carnivore veterans on here, we may be able to offer some insight and some hope. Thank you so much for watching this entire video. If you're still here, you are my people, and that makes me so happy. If you haven't already, I'd love for you to like and subscribe. That's how you can help this video to reach more people, and that means more lives will change. So thank you so much for helping me to change lives. I'm so grateful for you.